morning, library friends. It's Miss Becky from the Baldwin Library. Welcome to our Nature in the Neighborhood program today. Today we're going to be learning a little bit about backyard birds. I want to teach you all some of the most common birds that we find right here in Pennsylvania that you could identify with your family, even if you just have access to a window. Behind me is my little bird garden. I was just cleaning out my bird bath here. I use a simple solution of 9 parts water and 1 part vinegar. So 9 cups of water, 1 cup of vinegar. And that works great to scrub out the bird bath and keep it free of bacteria that could harm the birds. And it also is a very mild solution that will not strip any of the oils off of their feathers. I keep 2 bird baths back here, a large one up here, and a little tiny one at the bottom for any of the birds that like to find their water on the ground. I also feed the birds. I just use black oil sunflower seeds. That's the only thing I put in my feeders here. You can go crazy with bird feeding and have a huge assortment of food for whatever bird you're trying to attract. I just keep it simple. So I do refill my feeders every day. Release check. This is a nice feeder. None of my things are squirrel proof. I figure we're feeding everything right now. I also have a hummingbird feeder in my backyard too. But today I want to talk a little bit about some of the most common birds that we see right here and how you can identify them, and also add your recordings to some citizen science databases to help scientists, ornithologists study birds around the country. So stick around and be ready to learn. So why birding? Birding is a great family activity that you can do anywhere you can see the outdoors. Birding requires no special equipment, and it's a lifelong learning process. You can always learn more birds. All you have to do is open up your eyes and open up your ears and pay attention to what's going on around you, and you'll find birds everywhere. 2 excellent resources I recommend for anyone starting out birding is a resource called eBird, and that's available as an app. You can record your findings and help scientists learn more about the bird populations of your area, and also an identification app called Merlin Bird ID. So check out both of those as you learn more about birds. Today we're going to learn 8 basic backyard birds by sight and sound. These are birds anyone can find in their neighborhood. A very recognizable backyard bird is the northern cardinal. You can see the difference in both the male and the female. The male is bright red with a little bit of black around its beak, and the female is a drab, brownish yellow color. They do have a very wide variety of songs that they do sing. Let's listen to a couple of them. These are right off of the Merlin Bird ID app that I'm using. So here's the song of the Cardinals. To me it sounds hollow. It's one variety. There's another one. And this is a male and female calling together. You've probably heard this in your neighborhood many times. A cute little backyard bird is very small, is the chickadee. And this one is easily recognized by the black head and a lighter colored body. And it usually says its name. So let's hear that song. You hear chickadee-dee-dee-dee-dee. Here it is. Chickadee-dee-dee-dee-dee. You've probably heard this one around your neighborhood as well. First birds that everyone seems to learn is the American robin. You will find these looking for worms, pecking around in the grass, and they're trying to find worms to eat. That's their main source of food. They're a larger songbird, larger than your hand, and they have a cute little sound. Sounds like this. Here we go. Almost like cheerio, 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 cheerio. Very sing-songy. This is their call. Pretty common. So I'm sure that you've seen robins on the ground in your neighborhood. The titmouse is another small visitor to backyards and neighborhoods. You can see the small crest on its head, and it's overall a gray bird with a lighter underside, and it has a sound a little bit like Peter, 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 and a very loud call for such a small bird. It's this warning call that might say, hey, there's a cat in the neighborhood, or there's a hawk nearby. So let's listen to those sounds. Here's the Peter, Peter. Another one. This is a really common sound they make. And here's that call. This is a warning call. This is a loud, get out of here call. So maybe you'll see a tufted titmouse today. Crested bird that you might see in your neighborhood is the blue jay. This is another very common bird. They are beautiful blue color, and they have a very distinct call that can be very loud, especially if there is a group of them. So let's hear that. Sounds like jay, jay, jay. We have another interesting sound. It's kind of like a bubbly sound. Here it is. And that's another blue jay sound. A group of them together can be extremely loud. So look for the blue jay while you're out and about today. My favorite backyard bird is the little tiny Carolina wren. They are so tiny. They usually have a tail that sticks up like this, easy to recognize. And I love that they nest around humans a lot. You might find their nest in a flower pot. I even found one under my canoe, and I've seen them nesting on porch lights. They're social little birds, and they have a pretty recognizable call too. It sounds a little bit like tea kettle, tea kettle, tea kettle, tea kettle. Let's hear that. And they also have a trilling sound that you can hear pretty common. I hope that you see one of these. They are so cute. You can see on power lines or on the ground in a neighborhood is the mourning dove. A mourning dove is a larger bird, and by its sound, it's sometimes confused with an owl. Let's listen to that sound. So it almost has a hooting sound, a little bit like an owl. Have you ever heard that sound before? That's the mourning dove. Brightest visitors to a neighborhood is the American goldfinch. The males in the spring and summer have beautiful bright yellow coloring. The females will also have some yellow coloring, but you can see it's a much duller color. And in the winter, the males will have that same duller yellow to them, but you can see the white bars on their wings even in the winter time. The call of the goldfinch is kind of just garbled, and it's very high pitch. It's difficult to distinguish from other birds when you're just starting off, but here's a listen to that. It is very easy to distinguish a goldfinch when you see one. We've been seeing so many of these this year. We see them on our power lines, we see them in our yard, I get them in my garden, and even at my feeder. If you've mastered these 8 birds, you're ready for more of a challenge. If you'd like to take your birding further, I really suggest that you get a pair of binoculars. There's such a large variety of binoculars. Did you hear that cardinal in the background? They're everywhere. I love it. There's such a large variety of binoculars. You really can find something for every budget, and it really takes your birding to a whole nother level. The most important thing you can do is to just keep watching birds and keep listening. Join a bird walk. Beechwood Farms, the Audubon Center in Fox Chapel, they often have bird walks. You can also find bird walks at the Allegheny County Parks. Just check their website. So I hope you keep exploring and learning more, and I would love to hear about your bird discoveries. Thanks for coming along. Bye!
Birdies are fun to watch, so you should watch and listen to them.
Do you have a favorite bird, Lydia?
A parrot.
Parrots? Do we see a lot of parrots in Pennsylvania?
Well, we heard one in the tree.
It did sound like a parrot, didn't it? What birds do you like seeing in our backyard?
Cardinal.
Cardinals?
The boy.
Yeah. What color are they?
Red.
Red.